BowmanDigitalMedia.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mondays. My name is Ira Bowman. I am your host. I'm excited to have you here. Today is a special day on the show because I'm going to be teaching you today. Instead of interviewing a guest, I want to actually spend the time teaching you about something that I think can help pretty much everybody on social media, and that is how to create better videos. I'm going to be covering a plethora of things. I put them in the show description. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. But we're going to talk about shot selection, lighting, background, how to use a green screen if you have one, editing tools, marketing strategy, email usage, shooting and editing yourself if you can't afford to pay someone to do it or you don't want to, how to transcribe your videos, converting your long form video into short video, what I call shorts, and a social media strategy. It is really going to take a lot to get this done in an hour. In full disclosure, I probably will go a little long today, but that's okay. If you can't watch the whole thing, you can always come back and watch this later. We are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on LinkedIn, of course, as always. And then if you miss, it's funny. We'll talk about this too. Why can't I use music from Queen in videos? We'll talk about that, Matt. You can't do that. You'll get sued. Copyrights, brother. You gotta be careful what you use. But we're gonna talk about all this and more. Why? Because video is powerful. Video, you can use it for branding, for marketing, for sales. I mean, there's just so much social media posts, stuff on your website. I was just talking with one of my clients. We're building a new website for my client. And one of the things that we're going to do when you go to the home page, the very first thing you're going to see is a video on a loop. And the video, there's some rules that you have to follow on these videos for those types to fit within the themes, right? You can't load files that are so big. So you got to keep it down. So anyways, I just want to help teach you, I already did that one. Asked and answered. All right. So if you have a question for me anytime, this is a teaching clinic. Feel free to put them in. I will answer them. The very first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about just shot selections overall. Sometimes people, I think, are too worried about making videos yourself, or what I like to call social media videos, because you're not a professional studio. Look, we make at Bowman Digital Media, we do make videos for our clients. We are not a professional studio either, right? Like, you're not going to see my work in Hollywood movies or on TV shows. It's not really what we do. We make videos here for social media and for websites. That's really what we do. Virtual tours. We can do product highlights. We can introduce clients, and these are all things that basically you can do from your phone. Now, in full disclosure, we don't just use a phone. We have a drone here. We also use the Canon 90D, which shoots in 4K. So we have capability to do some different things. I didn't put in the show description microphones and stuff like that, but we do have a teleprompter. We do have lapel mics and boom mics and things like that, so you can go nuts. And if you're going to do that, you're going to probably need to get a MIDI as well. I don't want to take this too far out into the deep end because I want anyone from novice, like, look, you basically can use your phone, and I'm going to show you how to make a video today. I'm going to actually walk you through there's a program out there that I started using, I think back in 2018, maybe 2019, but Filmora 9. Now, I'm going to show you Filmora 9 because for anybody watching, if you don't have a video editing software, Filmora 9, and now they have the 10th version, which I didn't buy, Filmora 10, in full disclosure, because now I use Adobe Premiere. It's part of the Adobe Cloud Services, so I use that. But I want to show you guys how to do it on Filmora 9, because Filmora 9 is still available. And Filmora 9, I paid like $59. Maybe it was $69. Anyways, it was under $100 for this program. And you can do pretty much every video you've ever seen from Ira Bowman or Bowman Digital Media. You could do on Filmora 9 if you want to. Now, I didn't make them all using Filmora 9, but you can. I'm going to walk you through how to do it. So the very first thing I did was I took my phone earlier today, about 20 minutes ago, and I just made some generic record, go to the video camera, or actually in this case on the Mac, I just go to, or the iPhone. I just went to the camera tool. I shot some video. I actually shot some this way because a lot of you guys are shooting this way, right? Holding your phone up and down, and you need to actually hold it this way. So I'm going to show you the difference and why, but we'll just go through it. So again, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. So the first thing, shot selections. The one thing that I think all of you should do, and probably most of you have now, is an environment like what I'm sitting in front of. It's some place in your home or at your office where you have something that's not distracting behind you. So either a blank clear wall, or maybe you have a picturesque window, or you have a banner. I have a backdrop. This backdrop, just in full disclosure, I think it was about $300. It's 10 feet wide, 8 feet tall. The reason why I got this is because I actually travel and go to events. So I could take this with me, so it's multi-purpose. Now, if you don't have one of those, if you don't have a green screen, that's okay. We're going to get back to backdrops and green screens in a little bit. I don't want to talk about that just yet, but you need to have, for your shot selection, you have to have some place that's kind of neutral or pretty. It's not distracting, and it's professional. That's really all you're looking for. So like yesterday, if you go onto Bowman Digital Media on LinkedIn, or you find me on Facebook, I took some pictures yesterday of my family. We were actually sitting at our piano in our family room. Okay, that be a perfect place. That kind of environment would be a perfect place to do videos from, because it's not distracting. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so if you're unsure of the background, just go look at some of the other videos out there and some of the other photographs that are on LinkedIn. Probably be the best place because it's more professional, and just see what other people are using. Just try to find a place, like I said, that doesn't have any paraphernalia, anything that looks unprofessional, anything where you could see like a mess. You want to capture their attention with your shot selection. Okay, so inside is best usually because you can help control the noise. But if you need to do it outside, you might want to invest in a lapel mic. It's not something that's on the list, but lapel mics, you can get them for like $40, $50 if you want a entry-level product. They do have some noise canceling usually built in them, but they only have a short-range pickup. So that means if you have noise from the street and from 15, 20 feet or further away, usually the lapel mics won't pick up that noise. So that'll help. Hello, Zafar. Welcome. Welcome to everybody who's joining. Appreciate having y'all here. If you know anybody who's struggling with creating videos and you're watching now, if you want to invite them, tag them in the comments. That would be cool. Let's get this party going. All right, so I've covered shot selection a little bit. Now let's go into the lighting. Lighting is critical. Now, I have 15 different lights all around me. Some are, and I'm going to show you some of them today, okay? Some of them are like this, and they're the traditional, can't really see it. I'm going to turn it on. They're the traditional light bulbs, right? And the reason why I use these, I actually have two of them. I have one on my right and one on my left. You're going to notice when I turn them on, what happens to my face is it gets more color. Now, this is an expression we call too hot because I'm a little bit too bright. But if you're sitting under nothing but LED lights, right, halogen light bulbs, you're gonna tend, unless you're tan like me, you're gonna tend to be a little bit pale. Okay, so then you want to add in just a yellow light bulb, and look what happens. Now, look how much yellow is added in, and it looks more like normal skin tone. Okay, so you kind of have to like use your eyes and go, okay, and make some adjustments. Now I don't have a ring light. I know a lot of you like ring lights. You got to be careful with front lighting yourself, because especially for glasses, because of glare. So you just have to kind of think about all this stuff. Now, let's talk about this. If you get the green screen behind you, and I have one, I don't use it a lot, but I do have, actually I have two of them. In fact, hang on a second. No, I was going to grab one, but it's not easy for me to grab. Okay, so the thing about the green screens and the lighting, you want to light the green screen independent of you. And this is one of the reasons why I have 15 lights in here. I don't need 15 lights normally. I actually, usually in full disclosure, I have 4 of them on. So right now there's just 4 on, right? Unless I turn these on, and now there's 6, okay? But you want to get some yellow bulbs. Also, in full disclosure, and I don't use it a ton, but I have an LED light that changes colors, so I can make a green, a red, a blue, yellow, pink, orange, whatever color I want. I use that more for photography than I do for my video work. But sometimes, especially if you're, if you're having trouble, if you're struggling, like you turn on your yellow lights and you're kind of too orange, and you turn them off and you're too pale, then you might want to play with, the yellow setting and make it more, green or something like that to get the effect you're looking for. But also, let's say you have like a blue brand, like I have gray and black. It's supposed to be silver and black, but anyways, Bowman Digital Media is silver and black, right? So if, let's say I had green and I wanted to add a green hue, that would be kind of cool. I could turn the light on green. So those LED lights, the one that I've got, let me pull it out. It's in my handy dandy bag here. So the reason why I got this particular one, it's an LED unit and it's actually portable. So what's cool about it is I can take it with me anywhere, which is nice. Here it is. Okay. So this is by Weelite. So it's Weeylighte, and it's the RD08P if you guys are interested in purchasing it. But when I turn it on, at first it's white, so it's LED. It's really bright. But now I can come in here and I can make some changes, and so now I've got red, and then I can come and I can change the settings if I want again, and I can change, like if I want to add. Hang on, I went to the wrong thing. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, so if I want to add like more blue, I can make that bluer. And if I want to turn down the red so that it's really blue, I can make it bluer. You see? And so then, if you want to start placing this thing somewhere, you can give yourself just that tone in the room. Okay. So again, these lights are really cool. This was about $50, I think, $40, $50, something like that. So if you're interested, you can pick them up. But these are a good little gadget to have. Again, I don't use it mostly for videos. I mainly use that for photo shoots. So if you want to see how I use that, go to my Instagram page. you can check that out. But lighting is important. Now, again, backdrops. When you're going green screen, you've got to light the green screen 100% independent of you, so there's no shadows. Because the problem a lot of you are having with these virtual backgrounds is that you're lighting yourself and the room all at the same lights. And the shadows from you on the green screen are creating different settings. You would need different settings for the shadow versus the non-shadow. So that's where you have, disappearing heads and all this stuff. That's why I don't like green screens, frankly, because you can tell that you're sitting in front of a green screen. To have it be effective, you've got to be, you've got to have a pretty professional setup or using some pretty sophisticated software. So for simplicity's sake, if you just make sure it's nice and tight, your screen is nice and tight, and then make sure you've got your lighting set up so you're lighting that 100% independent of yourself. There's no shadows being cast from you onto the green screen. It'll work much better. Also, if you shave your head, that'll help too. So have fun with that. All right, what's next? We have editing tools. Okay, this is where I'm going to get into the Filmora 9. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Now, if you're not familiar with Filmora 9 and you have questions about that, feel free to send them to me or put them here in the comments. But I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to get going because I think this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time today. All right. So this, if you've not seen this before, this is what Filmora 9 looks like. But all of the media video editing softwares out there, for the most part, work the same. So once I teach you this, it should help. But you always have audio tracks and you have video tracks. Sometimes your video has audio in it and sometimes it doesn't. You can detach the audio and have them separate, and that's what I typically do. But the very first thing I want to do is just walk you through kind of the basics of how this works. I'm going to create a video. We're going to create a video together here on the show. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to name the project. So I'm going to come in here and do save as well. I've got to import one thing before it'll let me do it on this one. Okay, so import media. So what I did earlier today is, like I said, I took my phone and I just recorded. Hang on a second. Why is that not showing up? Oh, because I didn't extract them. That's why. All right, so hang on. We're going to do this together. So I took my video and on my phone, I uploaded them using a program called Documents. So Documents allows me to hook my iPhone up to my computer really easy and transition files. So if you're not using Documents, I recommend it. It's great. So I shot these files or these videos. Now I'm going to just extract it so that I have it, because you can't use extracted files. Or non-extracted files, sorry. Okay, so now they're extracted. So now let's do this. We're just going to take this and we'll create a new folder because I'm actually going to keep this video and I'm actually going to use it. So here we go. Documents, Bowman Digital Media. Got a few files in here. Let's go new folder. And let's call it video lesson. Okay, so now I've got this video lesson folder right here. I'm gonna just hit Control V to paste, and now those videos are there. Okay, so now if I come in here and I want to add the media, import the media files, I'm going to come here and I'm going to come down to voice video lesson, and I'm just going to grab all of them. Okay. And that'll put them all in here. Okay, so you got to load the files. Now, once the files are in here in Filmora 9, now I can name it. Now I've got something to save. So I'm gonna hit Save Project As, and I always follow the same order of operations. It helps me find stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna put this file in that new folder, Video Lessons, and by default, Filmora 9 always calls it VE Project 1. Right, and then there's file type WFP, which is just their particular extension. So this is just saving the project and all the details. So I'm just going to call this video lesson for Marketing Mondays. All right. So now the project is saved. If for some reason the file blows up or there's an issue with the program, it'll save my work. Okay, so when you want to bring these in, see how they're all blue? Right now they're all selected. So I just want to select one. Okay. So I'm going to bring one in, and I didn't shoot them in order. So let me bring in this one. Okay. So the very first thing it's going to ask me is about frames per second. Just as a general rule of thumb, your Hollywood videos and things that you're watching on the movie screen are usually shot at 24 frames per second. Okay, that's FPS, frames per second. I typically do my work in 30 frames per second. So my settings are set at 30 frames per second. So I'm going to leave that there, even though it's asking me if I want to match the media at 25. Okay. So now I'm just going to hit play. This, I didn't record this right this second. I recorded it earlier because I'm using my camera to be on on the show. That's otherwise I would have recorded with you live, right? But watch this. Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways. Oh, that's not the one I want to show you. We talked about that already, but I want to do the introduction. Hello, everybody. It's there we go. With Bowman Digital Media, talking to you today about how to use your phone to make better quality videos for your marketing efforts. Okay, so now I've shot this in segments. Okay, I've got an intro. I've got segment 1, I've got segment 2, and I've got an outro. Okay, so very first thing we're talking about when we were talking about shot selections, the very first thing is your introduction. What are you going to do? What do you want to say in your introduction? So you just have to think about this in stages. Now, there's another step to transitions, but if you think about your introduction, you think about the heart of your video, and then you think about the conclusion, I typically don't shoot them in one long shot. Now, the nice thing about video is I can clip them. So if I do shoot something long and I make a mistake with video, you don't need to hang up, you know what I mean, and start over. This is one of the things a lot of you probably get frustrated about. You shoot 45 seconds worth of video, and at second 38, there's a mistake, and you're like, I can't use it. I've got to start over. Well, with video editing software, you don't have to do that. We can just edit it out. There's a couple different ways that we can transition. So when I am shooting, like I did for this one, I typically shoot in shot selections. That's where that term comes from. So introduction, and then meet, or message 1, message 2, message 3, depending on how complicated it is. But you're always going to have an introduction and outro, so the beginning and the end, and then what's in the middle. Right? So think about that. So this one right here is my intro. I'm actually going to rename it just so it's easy for me to identify it. I'm going to rename this one intro. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Let me change this back so it's bigger so you guys can see it. But I have dyslexia, so I misspell stuff all the time. Okay, intro. I think that's spelled right. Now this one, I believe, is my outro. Well, let's just see. Now, I don't have to put them together just yet. Yep. Okay, so this is the outro. So I'm going to rename it again just so I can keep them straight. Outro. Okay. So that's my intro. That's my outro. Now, if I pull these back, now that'll have the right name on there. And it just helps me keep them in order. Now, if I was to slide these together and hit play, the transition would be funky, but it would be one solid video. How to use your phone to make better quality videos for your marketing efforts. See there, no transition. That doesn't work. Okay, so obviously we're not going to do that. That would be really clunky. How can we take this one and transition to that one? Well, let's say, for example, we didn't have any other content. It was just 2 clips that we wanted to put together. Well, most of these programs have some built-in transitions. The number one used professional is fade. It's this one right here. So if we just wanted to use the number one fade, what we would do is we would bring it like that. Now watch what happens. Make better quality videos for your marketing efforts. See, so now it's not clunky. It's still not where I would like it, but it's not as clunky. And by the way, I can shorten, like if you go, that fade was too long, took too much time to fade in and out. you can adjust the lengths just by dragging. So now the fade is much shorter. Okay. So fades, if you guys aren't using fades, you definitely want to work that in. Hey, it's my pleasure, Marwan. I hope this helps everybody. That's the goal. Okay. So I've got an intro, I've got a fade, which is called a transition. That is the most common kind. Now, it's okay to play with all of them. You know, so if, like, for example, if I want to take this one out, the effect out, and put in a different one, like a warp. Warp's kind of fun. Okay. So now watch what happens. Marketing efforts. So you can do that. There's all kinds of them. Now, every program has different transitions in. Some don't have transitions at all. So if you're new to video editing, I like Filmora 9 because it's simple. It's not rocket science. Now, what happens in most of my videos is something a little bit more complicated, but I use overlays a lot. So let's start bringing in some more components just so you guys can see what's going on. So at Bowman Digital Media, a lot of times you're going to see these overlays that I've made. They're PNG files, okay? And the PNG file is just, I'm going to sit over the top of the video. So I'm going to match it up with the length of the video. Oop, I got to put a transition back in, sorry. Let's go back to the fade, just because that one is the most common. Okay, so, and I'm going to shorten it up just because I don't like that length. It's too long. So there we go. Oh, okay, so now what I've done is I've done a couple things at the same time. I've got my overlay. Can you guys see that? And that's on the top. Now, if I was not sure and I built this thing backwards, now watch what happens. See how I can't see the overlay? It's there, but I can't see it. The reason why is because I sat the video over the top. So layer 2 sits on top of layer 1. It's additive. So the reason why we use PNG files is because PNG files have a clear center. I'm actually going to do something I wasn't planning on doing, but I'm going to open one of these things up for you just so you can see how it all comes together. Okay, because again, this is really, I'm here to teach you guys today. So let me open this up so you can see it. All right. So here's the actual design file for the overlay. Now you see this checkerboard. When you guys see a checkerboard in Photoshop, what that means is it's clear. So if I didn't want it clear, okay. So now if I was to save this, I wouldn't be able to see through it, but that wouldn't work for the video. So the video is going to be visible wherever you see the checkerboard. Okay, so that's the theory of what's going on here. So, oh, I just realized I shared that on the wrong screen. You guys didn't see any of that. Let me do that again. Sorry, I'm not used to sharing this screen over here. Okay, let me go back to what I did. So when you're in Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever you're using to design, okay, if you see this checkerboard, that checkerboard is clear. You can see through it. If you don't want it to be clear, then you're going to add, a rectangle, which I actually built on the other screen just a second ago. But if I was to save it like this as a PNG file, I wouldn't be able to see through it. Or if I showed you as a JPEG, I wouldn't be able to see through it. That doesn't work. These overlays have to have a clear panel. So sometimes it'll be just a logo. Sometimes it'll be a top and a bottom. Sometimes it'll just be a bar that goes across. I built several of these for folks for the use on StreamYard and other programs when they're broadcasting and it just has, you know, like their company name and the logo in it with the cool little shape. Okay, but this right here, this is the part that is interesting, or this is, I'm sorry, this is the part that allows you to see through it. Okay, so let me go back to Filmora here. So now what I've got here is I've got my base layer. That's the bottom layer. Now it's on level 2 right now. That actually doesn't really matter. But if I want to grab everything, I can just grab that, grab that, and then I can move everything down a layer. Okay. Now the other thing that I typically do is I will detach the audio and add in more audio. I'll show you why I do that in a moment, but I just want to cover the basics. So just to refresh, let's do it all over. Okay. Let's start from scratch. You've opened up the program. You want to go to your media. You want to import your media. So file, import media, pick your files, right? I had my files in my video folder. There it is. Okay. So I would just grab all these and hit open. I've already got them in here, so I don't need to do that again. Now, they're named by default the day and time that I shot the video. So after bringing one down and watching it, hey everybody, it's Ira Bowman. I just got stories, I think. I've never had it. So, okay, that video is something that is not part of this project. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to delete it, and then I'm going to take it here and delete it. I don't need that in this folder. That was from something I did the other day. I got stories, in case you guys don't know, last week. So that was exciting. All right, so now I'm going to watch the next one.
Here is an example of video shot using portrait mode on my phone. Notice the spaces to the left and to the right. This is why we don't typically use this orientation for business photo or video use, right? So,
okay, now, did you notice that I had a stumble in the video? I would like to tell you that that was on purpose, but it actually wasn't. I stumbled. But I don't have to live with that in the video. We actually can cut that out. So I am going to cut that out. I'm going to show you how to do it. But first things first, I want you to notice. See what I'm talking about? Most of you guys, when you record, you're recording your videos like this. So you have it in selfie mode and you're shooting it and you're holding it like this. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Look at what's going on here. See the space right here and right here. It's blank space. You're wasting the space, okay? Watch what happens when we shoot it the right way. Now, I'm going to rename it because now I know what that video is. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go call that portrait mode, okay? And then I'm going to take it off here and I'm just going to get it because I'm just naming them so I know what I have. Now, this last one is going to be, remember I said you have intro. I feel like I'm too far away. You're almost always going to have an intro and an outro. Now in this one, I have body message 1 and body message 2. You can label those however you want, right? But they're shot selections. So I have 4 total shot selections in this video, okay? I have the intro, I have the portrait mode, I have the landscape mode, and I have the outro. That's the 4 shots that I have, even though I shot them all in the same location, all right? But there's 4 different shots or scenes if you want to use technical video speak. Okay, so I have 4 scenes. Hey, my pleasure. I'm glad to help. This is hopefully a help to all of you. Okay, so now I have them labeled because, well, I didn't label the last one. Let me label that real quick. So I'm gonna label the last one.
Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways instead.
Okay, so this is
straight up and down. Most of you are shooting.
Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm actually going to pull this thing back out. All right, but I've got them all labeled. Now I'm going to put them in order. So the very first thing I want is my intro. Boom, there we go. And then I want my portrait, order of operations. Boom. Now it starts to get to the end. What happens if I put another one in here? Well, now I can't see the end. So this right here adjusts the view. And I'm sorry, I should have probably told you this in the very beginning. This line right here is what we call the playhead. This is where on the video you are at any given time. Now in Filmora 9, see how it's got the nice little handy dandy scissors? That's what we're going to use for cutting or clipping. But there's a couple different ways to use it. So I want to add a little bit more on here before I do that, because I want to show you how it all comes together. But now I have 1, 2, 3 videos in there. I still don't have my outro. Okay. Now, if you have hired somebody like Bowman Digital Media, you probably have some other fancy intro animation. I do because, well, I own Bowman Digital Media and I'm the one who makes them. So I'm also going to import my intro and my outro, which I actually have. Like I said, I have for my business, I have actually a variety, as you can see, of these things. But the ones that I use officially are right here. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to grab that one. These are the two that you see all the time in my videos. Okay. So now I'm going to take the video intro and I'm going to put that at the very front, and I'm going to take my video outro and I'm going to put it right there. So now I've got a video actually with 6 different components, 6 different scenes. I've got my automated intro. I've got my video intro. I've got landscape mode. I'm sorry, portrait mode, landscape mode, my video outro, and then my animated outro. So without any editing, well, actually, before I do that, let's do this. Let's also add my overlay, because if you don't have one of these things, you can have one made for you, and then you can use them all the time. I make these for my clients all the time. So, you know, this is something that you can either make yourself if you know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or something like it. So typically on my intros and outros, I don't actually, well, I will this time. That's okay. Just to keep it simple. So now it all matches up. And then remember about those transitions. So I'm going to come here to the transition phase, and I'm just going to use fade. So I'm going to click on fade, and I'm going to drag it down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. On Filmora 9. This actually is kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but there. And then there. Every shot scene, I'm going to have a transition. Okay? It's just a fade. And then if you remember right, here, I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it. If you remember right, what I do is I shorten them down, because I don't need this thing to last a long time. I really just want a quick fade. And if you notice, it's actually doing equidistant, which is pretty cool. So now if I wanted to, I could just copy that and paste it, but that's okay. I'll just go and do them all. So they're pretty much the same. Make a mistake, just hit edit undo, and it's all good. I've got that selected. And now I've shortened it. Okay. To the next one. Selected, drag it. It's changed. All right, this is Riveting TV. If you guys have questions, again, go ahead and ask them in the comments. This is a teaching session, okay? So what are we doing right now? We are adjusting the length of the fade so that when it fades in and out, it doesn't take quite so long. That's all we're doing right here, okay? Okay, so now all the fades have been adjusted. So if I look at this thing, where I can see it all together, I just have to make these adjustments. And again, it's a little bit clunky on Filmora 9. Filmora 9 is probably the easiest program there is to use for video editing, but it also can be clunky. All of them can be clunky. So you just have to, you have to learn what all this stuff does, click on it, play with it, make some video edits, and there you go. But all of them pretty much work the same. Now, the other thing you'll notice about my videos is I almost always have an underscore of music. So one of the questions today by Matt, let me bring it back up, was you need some music from Queen instead. Now, music is copyrighted, and if you use the wrong music, copyrighted music without permission, you can be sued by the artist, the label, whoever has rights to the music, and sometimes it's multiple parties. But the other thing is, like YouTube, if you're going to share this video on YouTube, which I'm on YouTube live right now, if I play the wrong music without the rights to music from YouTube, then what happens? What happens is I get a strike and I can lose my ability to use the channel, YouTube. So I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to pull up my YouTube channel and I'm going to show you guys how to figure this out. What music can you use? Well, if you come into your channel, right, and go into your editor. So I'm going to go into Studio. Then down here is something called Audio Library. Okay, Audio Library has music that you can use for free. Now, some of it you can use it, but you have to give credit in the credits to the artist, and some of it you can just use for free and no credit needed. Okay, so how can you tell? It's right here, license type. If it has this next to it, YouTube audio license, that means you're free to use it. You can use it on anything you want, no problems, no hassles. Now, I have used, you need to check this if you're going to save it, because sometimes it starts out and then they change the license. So you're just going to need to make sure before you use it. This is why you don't need to download everything unless you're going to use it on a regular basis. But I'm going to show you, there are some, of course I'm looking for them, so they're not going to be here readily, but here, I know how to find them. Okay, so here's the other type right here, CC. CC is Creative Commons Attribution. That means you're free to use the audio track in your videos. However, you must include attribution information in your video description. In other words, you've got to get the information about the artist and whoever holds the copyrights and go, they, the music is theirs. So they just want recognition. Okay, so if you want to make it simple, just don't pick those. And if it's not that hard to do this. So if you want to use music, the general rule of thumb is anything you've heard on a TV show or on the radio, it's copyrighted. So why not just get the copyright rights and play those? Well, that's a great question. Sounds simple enough, right? Problem is, they'll let you do it, but they won't let you do it for free. You gotta get a hold of every single party who's got a right to that music. So the songwriter, usually the person who wrote the lyrics, and then typically the studio that produced the music. So a lot of times there's 3 different parties that have rights to the music. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, right? Sometimes like Sony Records will have bought out a person or whatever, right? Whatever group it happens to be. I have tried to get the rights for several songs for different projects over the years because it was a funded project. I've seen it $50,000. I've seen it $25,000. I've seen it $10,000 in these ranges. And usually these video projects that you're working on, it's a lot of hassle and it's a lot of money. And most of the time it isn't worth it. So what I say, anybody watching this video, if you're watching this video, just forget about using copyright music because it's most likely going to be way out of your budget. So go to YouTube, go to your studio creator mode, go to their audio library, find stuff that you can use. They curate it, they give it to you for free, and you don't have to worry about strikes. So that's what I want to say about music. Again, if you guys have questions about that, we've got plenty of time. Just go ahead and drop them in the comments. Okay, so let's go back to the lesson. So that's studio creator mode in YouTube. Go ahead and pull that up. But what I'm going to show you is I have got a ton of this music that I downloaded over time because I use music all the time in my in my videos. So I've got a folder created, and I created it, called it YouTube Safe, because these are all ones that not only are on YouTube, but they're the free version that you don't even have to use attributes for. So I can use these in any of my videos, and I don't have to worry about if I'm using one with attributes. I save it in a different folder because I've got to also save the attribute information. You understand? So it's another layer of work. But let's say just for fun, I'm going to use the music, and I wouldn't, but let's just say I want to use the music that I use for this show. If you're not familiar with that music, we can go ahead and play it real quick. Okay, so I wouldn't use that music in this. It doesn't fit. You know what I mean? But if I was going to, I could. All right. So what I'm typically going to do, because my videos have intro here, I'll show you. My intro and outro has music built in. This is the first editing I'm doing in the video, really. Okay, so what have I done? I've added the video scenes. I've added the overlay, and now I've just imported the music. But now I'm going to start to do my first editing. Typically, I do sound last, by the way. I usually do the base layer, work my way up, and then I do any audio additions at the end. But what I've just done is I've matched the length of the track, which came out to there, and I've shortened it down to just the inner video itself, not the automated intro and outro, because those already have music tied to them, is why. Now, typically, and I'm gonna zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I want to take my playhead, and I want to go over here so that I can zoom in all the way. And I'm just showing you so that you can see it as big as possible. The very first thing that I typically do is adjust for volume level. So dB stands for decibels. That's how loud it is. Okay. So typically on a video like this, I'm going to set the base layer somewhere around -30. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. You do have to play it and listen to know what's the correct volume. But usually about -30 decibels will be right. The other thing that I do, and I'm actually going to pull this back up to show you because otherwise it's going to be hard to see. Inside Filmora 9 itself, there are these little white tabs up at the top. And if you drag them over, what that does is that sets the max level that sound can be at that point in time. So by dragging it this way, right here, it's hard to see it, but I've clipped some of the audio. In fact, now I've clipped more of it. See what's there in the dark lines? That music spikes at a louder decibel level, but I've capped it so that it's quieter. So I'm actually going to turn the sound off here on the video and just play you that audio so you can hear. Well, first let me move it. This is what it sounds like uncapped. Okay. Now I'm going to change it, and I'm going to cap it. Now listen to what it sounds like. It's going to gradually build. Okay, so hopefully you can hear the difference. But this one, gradual build up. The other one, it's just straight away what the song does. So that allows me an over control for building in the transition, and that's all that really is for it. Now, because we have fade ins and fade outs, you can just go ahead and make those music transitions match the fade for balance. In this case, I don't really care because I'm going to turn this thing way down. So again, at -30, it's going to be a lot quieter than it was before. Here you go. So it's just there. It's this little ambiance. It's background noise. That's all it's going to be. Okay. I do this in almost all. I do this in almost all my videos. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this back on, and here's what it's going to sound like with me talking.
Hello, everybody. It's Ira Bowman with Bowman Digital Media, talking to you today about how to use your phone to make better quality videos for your marketing.
Now, I want you to notice something, and I don't know why this is, because I use the exact same device to record all the videos, but see how much taller these sound bars are than these ones? This video is quiet. The audio is quiet, so I'm actually going to turn them up. Now, in Filmora, the max is 12, adding to existing sound video. I can turn it up by 12 decibel points. But look at those. They're almost the same level. I'm going to bring this down just a tad. And now the video sound should be about the same across. So I'm going to let this go so you can hear it, okay?
Hello, everybody. It's Ira Bowman with Bowman Digital Media, talking to you today about how to use your phone to make better quality videos for your marketing efforts.
And fade out.
Here is an example of video shot.
Okay. Now, this sound is a little bit louder still. It's hot still. So I'm actually going to turn this down. I can go down too, okay? So I can pull that down all the way down, basically where you can't hear it at all, okay? So there's no lower limit, but I'm going to just pop it down. I think just 3 down. I want to try to make these match. That's really what I want to do here, the sound levels to match.
For your marketing efforts. Here is an example of video shot using portrait mode on my phone. Notice the spaces to the left and to the right. This is why we don't typically use this orientation for business photo or video use, right? So instead, in the next clip, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we hold the phone sideways. Okay, so now I'm holding my...
All right, now we're hot again, so I'm going to pull this down because I'm trying to make everything blend. I just want it to match, levels to match.
The phone sideways. Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways instead of straight up and down. Most of you are shooting videos like you consume your phone with the phone.
Okay, now my music is too loud there, so I'm pulling this thing down.
Elongated or in the portrait mode. And I want you to make this switch to landscape because every platform except for Instagram pretty much uses this video setup. 1920 by 1080 is the standard resolution for videos. It's a rectangle, not a square, and it's usually wider than it is tall. So hold your phone sideways and you'll give yourself much more opportunity to make professional grade videos. Your camera phone likely shoots great quality video, as mine does. But if you help the video out by holding it sideways.
Okay, so right there, I stuttered. I had a stutter step. What do I need to do there? I could just trim that out. Okay, so let's come back.
Phone likely shoots great quality video, as mine does. But if you help.
Okay, so I'm gonna just cut that out. I don't need that on there, right? So now, right now, it's hard to tell, but in Filmora 9, I wish I could blow this up for you guys, but there's a yellow line around the top layer, there's a blue line around this layer, and there's a green line around that layer. It's just to help you see what is highlighted and what isn't, okay? But all I want to trim right here is this. So now if I take that video and do that, that's one way to clip it, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this little red. Now, if I don't have this highlighted, it would clip everything. But I just want to clip this video layer. So I'm going to clip it right there. Okay? Now I'm going to play.
If you help the video out by holding it sideways.
Okay, I kind of like that. So maybe what I need to do is not clip that there. I need to be a little bit more discriminate here.
If you help the video out by holding it sideways.
Okay, so I'm just going to say take that word but out. Okay?
If you help the video.
And this is, it could drive you nuts, but you can get really deep in this thing. Okay, I want to find, I'm pulling this up because the talking, this is the sound, right? So this is going to help me find the spot to splice. So I'll put it back in a second.
As mine does. But if you
so that's what I want to cut out, because it makes me sound like a little bit of a buffoon.
But if you help the video out by holding it sideways, it'll be good.
Okay, so I'm just going to take the butt out. It's right there. Okay, now let's watch it.
Video out by holding it sideways, it'll make a huge difference.
Okay, so now I'm going to take that sound and put it back down where I had it, which was, I think, -8.
Huge difference. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the Ira Bowman channel. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope to see you again real soon.
Okay, now what happened? I clipped that video and this became too long. So I just want to drag that over so it matches. And notice it got blue. That line comes out. That's just trying to help you out. Going, okay, here's a start and stop if you want to align it. That's just to help you with alignment. Okay.
See you again real soon.
Now, another thing that we haven't done yet. There's a couple things that we haven't done yet. So let's grab that, shift, and let's just pull it back so we can see. Okay, now we have pretty much this video done. The only thing that we don't have, if you want it, and I do recommend them a lot, on-screen titles. Another thing that I like about Filmora 9 is it has some of these pre-built effects, title effects that you can add to make the video come alive. So like, for example, if I want to highlight here the blank space, what I could do is I can find one of these that's kind of fun, or I can do one that's more serious if I want and say, you know, blank space here, blank space there, right? So you have to kind of go through them to know what they are. And I haven't been through this in a while, so again, I know this is riveting TV. I've used this one a lot in my videos. I like that one. I like this one too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use that one. So now what I'm gonna do, again, this is over the top. So that's what it would look like, right? So I don't wanna do that. I wanna move everything. So I'm gonna move the base effect. And then I'm gonna move the words. Now, if I don't want one of these words here, Filmora 9 doesn't let you actually delete them, but you can make it blank. Okay, so like if I don't want your text here, double click on it, and then just go ahead and make it blank. And it'll still be there, but it'll be blank. So in effect, you've deleted it. Now, if these are too big for you, you can do that to make a match. Or you can go in and manually set the font size, whichever you prefer. I usually just do it by eyeball. But this is one of the advantages of going with Premiere or something like it, because this is doing what's called snap guide frames. And the snap guide frames, frankly, sometimes get on my nerves. But it is what it is. What it is. So, okay, now I want to click on that. Okay, I don't like how small it is, and I want to blow it up. Okay, centered, not too big. There we go, good enough. Okay, don't leave blank space. So now I can change how long that plays for by doing that. And I probably don't want it to start right at the beginning. Actually, I probably want to have it go more towards the end. Well, let's just watch it real quick.
Efforts. Here is an example of video shot using portrait mode on my phone. Notice the spaces to the left.
Hang on a second. Right where it says notice, that's where that should pop up. So I'm going to just zoom in just a little bit. Let me come back.
Notice the spaces to the left and to the right. The spaces to the left and to the right. This is why we don't typically use this orientation for business photo or video use, right? So instead, in the next clip, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we hold the phone sideways.
Okay, now if I want that effect to stay for that whole clip, I could just take this and drag it out. Okay, and now it'll match that. So I think I actually want to start it just a little bit sooner because of the animation. Now let's watch it.
On my phone, notice the spaces to the left and to the right. This is why we don't typically use this orientation for business photo or video use, right? So instead, in the next clip, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we hold the phone sideways. Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways.
I need to turn that back down because I had made that too loud to do the clip.
Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways instead of straight up and down. Most of you are shooting videos like you consume your phone with the phone elongated or in the portrait mode. And I want you to make this switch to landscape because every platform except for Instagram pretty much uses this video setup. 1920 by 1080 is the standard resolution for videos. It's a rectangle, not a square, and it's usually wider than it is tall. So hold your phone sideways and you'll give yourself much more opportunity to make professional grade videos. Your camera phone likely shoots great quality video, as mine does. But if you help video out by holding it sideways, it'll make a huge difference.
Okay, now that's really quiet, so we need to turn that up.
Lessons and for more free tips, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the Ira Bowman channel.
Okay, so here's an example. This is, remember I told you in the beginning, I like to break up my audio, detach it from my video. Here's one of the reasons why. For whatever reason, again, I was just using the smartphone when I recorded this stuff, you know, an hour ago now. From here to here is a different level. See that it gets louder? I don't know what happened there, but if I'm going to take all this, which I'm going to do right now. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to back this up just so you guys can see it. Sorry, let's make this smaller. Okay, so you can see everything. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it down one layer. So now that's layer 2 for audio. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to right click, and on here, one of the things it's going to say is detach audio. Okay, so now that's done. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to clip it right where that spikes. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. Okay. See here, lower mountains, here, higher mountains. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to separate it. Right there. Now I'm going to turn this, or I'm going to leave this one up, but I'm actually going to turn this one down so that it matches. Okay. Now when I play it, it'll be even across the board.
All right, thanks for watching this video. For future lessons and for more free tips, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the Ira Bowman channel. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Okay, at that point, this video is ready to go. So with Filmora 9, what I want to do is I want to come in here and I just want to hit Save Project. And we had already set up the name and the location. Then you want to come in and export it. Now export, you actually do have options. For Filmora 9, you have to come in and pick the folder. So it remembers the last one that you did. The last one I did was for Blue Mark Partners. So I'm going to come in here, Bowman Digital Media. I'm going to come down to the video lesson. We'll save it right there. So that's just picking the folder itself. Okay. Now I want to come in. I've got my, remember that resolution I was talking about, 1920 by 1080? That's the video resolution that we're saving it as. We're saving it with 30 frames per second. The file size is going to be almost 150 megs. That's important because sometimes, like for a website, you need to get it down under 57 megs. So what can I do? Well, I could come in here and I could change the settings. Right now I've set quality to best. I could change it to better or good. I can reduce my frame rate, less information. You can also change your, I'm going to leave those alone. You can also change your file type. Sometimes the file type, MP3 is audio only, MP4 adds the video, but sometimes people want an F4V, an MKV, a web movie, a GIF, right? So you have some different options. MOV, those are very common too. So sometimes you can play with that. In this case, I'm going to leave it alone. Now I'm going to call this thing Filmora 9 lesson by Ira Bowman. Okay, that's because that's really what this has turned out to be. So then I'm going to hit export, and then that's going to export. Now, it takes a while. This is the raster image process, the ripping process can take quite a while. Depends on what we've done. Now, we didn't use green screen. Green screen video, for whatever reason, with Filmora 9 adds a lot of processing time. So sometimes, you know, these things can take hours to rip. But you don't have to be like here watching it. We can go back and do other things. When it's done, I've got it set to beep at me. And then we can watch the final produced video. Okay. So while we're doing that, let's talk about the next thing, which is marketing strategy. Now we've got it. We talked about shots. We talked about lighting. We talked about backgrounds. We talked about the editing tools. That's what Filmora 9 is. It's just one of them. There's lots of others. Now we're going to go into marketing strategy. What can you do with these videos once you have them? Well, wow. Once you have them, we can actually do quite a bit, okay? Number one thing is videos for websites, videos for social media will help you to put information out, content out that people will want to consume in a format that they like to consume it. A lot of people watch videos. One thing that we didn't talk about, notice this show. We have closed captions on the show. A lot of people are watching videos with the sound down. So one of the things that I talk about, or I put a little bit lower in the list here is, okay, that sound right there says the video is ready. So I'm going to hit, let me share my screen again. There's a lot of things I like about Filmora. This is one of the nice things about Filmora. So it says find target. So it's ready for us. Where is it? Here it is right here. Okay. So the video is right there. Well, I'm just going to put it on. Let's watch it. Of course, it goes to the screen that isn't being shared, but that's okay. So this is the video that we just made. Hello, everybody. It's Ira Bowman with Bowman Digital Media talking to you today about how to use your phone to make better quality videos for your marketing efforts.
Here is an example of video shot using portrait mode on my phone. Notice the spaces to the left and to the right. This is why we don't typically use this orientation for business photo or video use, right? So instead, in the next clip, I'm going to show you. In the next clip, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we hold the phone sideways.
Okay, so now I'm holding my phone sideways instead of straight up and down. Most of you are shooting videos like you consume your phone with the phone elongated or in the portrait mode. And I want you to make this switch to landscape because every platform except for Instagram pretty much uses this video setup. 1920 by 1080 is the standard resolution for videos. It's a rectangle, not a square, and it's usually wider than it is tall. So hold your phone sideways and you'll give yourself much more opportunity to make professional grade videos. Your camera phone likely shoots great quality video, as mine does.
But if you help video out by holding it sideways, it'll make a huge difference. All right, thanks for watching this video. For future lessons and for more free tips, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the Ira Bowman channel. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Okay, so video shot, video edited, video's ready to go. What can you do with that? The very first thing that I typically do now is I go over to YouTube and I load it in. You want to pay attention to the title. You want to pay attention to the keywords in the description, and you definitely want to pay attention to the tags. Now, the tags, a lot of people don't know about because it's not in the generic. In fact, let's just pull it up. I mean, I'm teaching you. Why not just teach you all the way, right? So where did my YouTube go? Here we go. All right, so let's get into this. So if we're going to share, what we want to do is we want to come over here and we want to hit create and then upload a video. Okay, select files. So where are we going? We're going to go to that video lesson folder and we're going to pick the file. There it is. And now it's going to take some time to load. Now, I have already built a template for my video descriptions and my video tags, but you likely have not done that. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. You're not going to be able to see me for a second. That's okay. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it. In fact, yeah, that's okay. The ratio of the screen that I have is set up for Instagram, so it's a square. But anyways, what you want to do while it's processing, you want to name it. Fillmore Lesson by Ira Bowman is not a great name for this video because nobody's going to search for that. Right? You want to name it something that helps you be discovered by people who aren't necessarily looking for you or the base name. So how could I make this better? What would people search for? Instead of Fillmore 9 Lesson by Ira Bowman, how about how to make a better Okay, so now it says how to make a better business video with your phone. That's much more likely to be searched, a topic to be searched, and it is exactly what we talked about in the video. So it works, okay? So I could do that, and if I want to put my name in there by Ira Bowman, sure, you can do that. There's, people who search for videos by Ira because I have a large social media network, but, you might want to put your business name in there by Bowman Digital Media instead, for example, right? Whatever you want to do there. But how to make a better business video with your phone, and really, you might want to put some adjectives like quickly, free, without buying any expensive software. We could do all of that stuff, and it would be appropriate. Okay, but then in the description, that's where we want to start adding those kinds of details. Not happy with the quality of your business. Actually, I'm going to put self-shot. For business use. Okay. Not happy with the quality of your self-shot videos for business use? Question mark. You are in luck. In this video, Ira Bowman, that's me. Okay, so here's what I've got going on. Not happy with the quality of your self-shot videos for business use? You're in luck. In this video, Ira Bowman teaches how to take self-shot videos using a smartphone and editing them with simple-to-use software to turn the blah into a wow. Learn how to create better videos to capture the attention of your prospects and get them to engage more with your brand on your website and social media. Want to learn more? Subscribe to this channel for future tips and tricks to improve your marketing efforts. And then down below, I've just got all the stuff that I have in here for all my videos. And there's SEO tips and tricks in here that I'm not going to share right now because I don't want to confuse you guys. But then you're just going to come down here. Is it made for kids? No, it's not. Show more. This is the hidden part that most of you are missing. So go ahead and hit show more. And then these tags. Oh my goodness, these tags are the gold to help you get found. So you've got the title, you've got the body of the content, and then you've got these tags. These tags help to let YouTube know what your video is about so that when people are searching, they can consider adding your video into the search results. And that's what you want. So these are my generic tags because most of my videos are about these things, but you could pull any of these out and include any of them that you want. So like this one, I'm definitely doing video. So I want to make sure I have video in there. I've got videos, but not video singular. It doesn't look like. So I'm going to pull out one of these. Like I don't do press release in here. So I'm going to pull that out. I'll pull PR out. And then I'm going to go video editing. Okay. Smartphone. You have up to 500 that you could put in there, okay? So put however many you want, and then you can handle your closed caption, by the way, if you have a certificate for closed captioning. But anyways, from that point forward, now the other thing I didn't do here that I typically do is I'll come in here and usually I have a custom thumbnail that I will make in Photoshop or Illustrator. Now, because I didn't do that and for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. So what you want to do is just pick the one that looks the best. Like this one, I have a weird look on my face. That one, I kind of have a weird look on my face. And that one, I have a weird look on my face. I have 3 weird looks on my face. But of the 3, this one I think is the least weird look expression. So I'm going to go with that one just to save time. Typically, again, what I would do is I would create a custom thumbnail. Okay. That'll be another lesson for another day. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. And then because I have the ability to monetize my videos, I could turn monetization on. Now, if you do that, I just want to show you when you guys get to that level, it takes longer when you go through because now it has to check. Now, add cards. Add cards is something I do recommend. So I am going to do it right now. I'm going to show you how you do that. Add cards, you want to typically, if you're following my advice, you just want to have link to channel. And so it's going to ask you what channel do you want to link to. I want to link to my channel. Thank you. So there I am, Ira Bowman. And then I always say the same thing. Please subscribe to my channel. Okay, and so I get 30 characters. It's 30 characters exactly. And I think that's why they picked 30, honestly. But now that's going to show at the beginning. Totally fine with it. That's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to hit save. And then it's going to do checks. Okay. Because it's monetization, again, it takes a while, and don't let this fool you. It never takes 13 minutes. It takes longer. But if you go ahead and hit next, what it would do is it would say, okay, well, we can do that, but we can't guarantee that you don't have any strikes or whatever, so you may or may not make money on this thing, and I'm okay with that. So now it's asking me private, unlisted, or public. If I was going to go unlisted, it wouldn't give me this warning, but as soon as I go public, it's going to tell me right here that I haven't finished my check yet. So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish anyways. I'm okay with it. And then I could share it. I got this link. Now, this link is important. This is the link that you're going to use in adding it to your websites. I almost always will make a Pinterest pin out of it. Of course, it says the page isn't working. That's fine. But make a Pinterest pin out of it because that's a free backlink. I didn't talk about this, but in the list of the pre-populated list, one of the things that I have is the link to bowmandigitalmedia.com. So if I make a pin to the video links to my website, and there I've created another backlink using Pinterest. I almost always will share it on Facebook. So I'll go ahead and do that now just so you guys can kind of see how this works. Okay, so then what I want to say, I'm just going to say, okay, that's it. Hit send, and it's posting now to Facebook. There we go. Okay, and that's it. And then go ahead and click that. That copies the link. You go into your, if you're using Bluehost or whatever, web service you're using, your GoDaddy. God help you all. I don't hate that GoDaddy. They're not good for business websites. If you're using GoDaddy on a business website, you should call me and let's get that fixed so you can get your domain authority up and more website traffic. But anyways, copy that link, go into your web host and add that video. No matter if you're using WP Bakery or Divi or Elementor or whatever you're using, go ahead and add that to your site. And that's pretty much it for getting the video on social media. You can use the YouTube tools. It's really helpful. You want to make sure that you have inside the comment of every one of those. For more information, visit your website. You're trying to take people from social media over to your website. That's what you're really trying to do, right? That's the social media strategy. Now, the other thing is, let's talk about video shorts and let's talk about emails to videos. And then we're going to wrap this up because I'm already at an hour and 20 minutes already. Okay, so for the few of you that are hanging in, thank you very much. And if you have a specific question, go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll answer them before we wrap this thing up. But shorts, the very first thing, I call them shorts. Now, the video that we made is not very long. It's 2 minutes and 3 seconds in total runtime. There's no reason really to cut that up. Okay, it's already short. But let's say you're going to do one that's like an hour and, I don't know, an hour and a half. You probably don't want to use the hour and a half version for social media and for emails. You might not even want that for your website, depending on what it is. But if we were to take a video that's been shot in long form, let's say it was my mind just went blank, a podcast, very common, right? So you want to take a podcast, you want to break it up. Typically what I do with podcast breakups, or what I like to call shorts, is I like to chop up a question and an answer. And usually on a short, I'm trying to keep it under 3 minutes. Ideally, 30 seconds to 59 seconds is like the sweet spot for social media. But if I can cut that up, okay, and I can use Filmora 9 or Adobe Premiere or whatever social media, your film video editing software that you want, you can use it. But the idea is to cut it up. So you have an intro and, then you have your question and your answer typically. That's usually what I will do, right? And I want that to be 59 seconds or less. That's typically what I want. But my maximum is 180 seconds, 3 minutes, okay? You want to take those shorts. Now, you do everything that we just did in the video editing software. You're just starting with one long video that was recorded usually on Zoom or StreamYard or whatever as a podcast. But you do all the same thing. Cut it up, and then you want to take that and post those on social media's posts. So you could take one long form video that's like 90 minutes long, an hour long, and in theory get 10, 12, 15 different shorts out of them, depending on how many questions were asked in the podcast, or if it's an informational video, you could cut it up by section, like a tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, tip 4, whatever, right? Now you can take those, and now you've got posts that you can make with just the short thing. And then what you do is you make the post. Let's say we make a short, it's 75 seconds long. Okay, we make a video out of it, and then what we do is in the post we say, hey, if you want to see more of this, see the full version, we'll link to it in the comments. Then you could take the first comment and say, to watch the long form video, watch the full video here, and then click them over to your YouTube channel or over to your website, depending on where you're housing it, right? Now, in emails, the marketing strategy, a lot of times you're going to get asked to explain something a lot, or you have a new product or new feature that you want to get out in mass. Remember that thumbnail art that I was talking about earlier? So typically what I'll do is I'll create a thumbnail graphic for the video. Well, if I want to email videos out, I don't want to typically attach the full the video to the email because A, the file size can be too large, and B, for spam guard and protection of those types of things, you're not going to have a lot of success rate sending a large video file. So what I do instead is I'll take that thumbnail art that I made and I'll place that in the body of the email. And then I'll insert a hyperlink to either the short or the long form video, depending on what it is that I'm doing. So over the thumbnail, I typically will edit it and I'll put a little picture of an arrow, like an icon for the play button. And I'll typically right above the picture say, press here to play. And I'll click on it. And what it'll do is actually go to the hyperlink. It'll open their web browser. So that's a way that you can get video inside your emails without getting as much spam guarded protection and without sending out these huge files. So if you didn't understand what I just said, let me say it one more time. Okay. Open up your Outlook or your email, whatever. Grab a photograph, whatever photograph typically that you had made for the type for, let's go through it one more time. So, well, let's not. Never mind. Your thumbnail, your video thumbnail. Just take that art, open up, your photo editing software if you have it, right? Whether that be Canva or whether that's Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, whatever program you happen to be using. You can just get a little, YouTube logo or an arrow. Typically, you want to set the transparency at something like, 50%. And then overlay that over the top of your thumbnail. Save that, and then use that picture to embed inside the body of your email. So it's an embedded photograph. And then inside the embedded photo, you want to embed a hyperlink. Okay. I don't know if that's too technical or if you all understand exactly what I'm saying, but that's the idea. When you do that, and then you send out those emails to your prospects and to your clients, a lot of times you'll find that because you did it that way, you sent the video that way, it'll make it through the spam guard protection, even if they don't know you, because you're not trying to send them a large file. A lot of times people get spam blocked because of an attachment. So that's why we embed the photo into the body of the email like it's text. And then you add the link, the hyperlink, onto the embedded inline photo. Okay. Hopefully that helps. So I am way over. I'm at 90 minutes and I usually only go 60 minutes for the show. I hope this was a help. I hope it wasn't too technical. I tried to keep it like as plain Jane simple as I could and tried not to use any like really big words or technical words. So I just tried to use common speak. So I hope it helps. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. What happens if this is all way over your head and you don't know what to do? Look, you can always hire me at Bowman Digital Media. We'll create the videos for you. It is one of the 6 services that we offer. What do we do at Bowman Digital Media? We do social media management for businesses. We don't manage personal profiles. We also do website development. We build websites, both personal and professional websites. We are a graphic design company. So if you need logos built or any custom infographics or whatever you might need, overlays built, we do that. We also do photography, videography, and the one that a lot of people don't understand, but it's very critical to your overall success, is search engine optimization, or what most people refer to as SEO. And that's the wizardry that gets people to go from somewhere on the internet to finding your website and building your audience that way. So those are the different tools. My name is Ira Bowman. This has been Marketing Mondays. Join me again next week. I haven't set the topic yet for next week, but I'm in teacher mode. I'm teaching you guys some things. So if you have a topic suggestion, go ahead and leave those in the comments. Otherwise, I'll think of something here shortly. I did photo editing a couple weeks ago on Canva. So if you missed that, if you like this lesson and you want more of it, go back a couple weeks and you can see, and you can find them all on bowmandigitalmedia.com. But the Canva lesson was pretty good. We taught you how to set up cover photos and just how to do some of the basic editing, and then also some of the strategy in design to help you with fonts. We covered serif and sans serif and the rule of thirds. And anyways, interesting, I thought. But join me next week, same time, same place. I am on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn Live. Always Mondays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. BowmanDigitalMedia.com